just start mapping in the bottom of the ear, and that way you're not wasting your time while you're waiting. So we've got a nice big shadow here that I'm going to plot in, and again I'm just starting with the darks, with a fairly generic dark to start with, because as you've seen, you can start with a kind of generic brown or whatever, but as the drawing develops you can add in your warm tones, you can add in, you know, your lovely little depth. So again, following the shape of the ear, make sure you're getting all those directions in, because that's what gives the fur a bit of life. It gives it movement. You don't want it all going in one direction, especially with a dog like this. It's got fur in all directions, and you can see the wind looks like it's catching this one, so we want it going in all directions, and it gives the ear that movement. Okay, now I've got most of the movement in there, a few lines. Again, I'm going to go back in with cream. Before I do that though, I'm just going to get rid of my grid line. As you can see, it's cutting through. Just be careful when you're removing grid lines. It can be a bit soul destroying if you remove it and you take half your pencil back off. So just be really careful when you're doing it. You don't want to lose your detail. And I'll just brush that away. Now, while I'm adding in these highlights, I just want to mention as well, I'm using some paper at the side here, as you can see. Now you can use tracing paper, you can use drafting film, and that's what this is, or you can use just normal paper if you like. The reason I'm doing that is as I'm working through here, as you can see, my hand's resting on that, so I'm not smudging all the work I've done if I'm working across some areas, and especially today because I'm working on an area at the left hand side. If you're working across, it's not too bad, but you can still smudge all your pencil and your initial drawings. So okay, so I've mapped in most of them. I'm now going to darken my darks, and I'm going to put in some mid-tones. Again, I'm just using the same colours as I did for the top half. So this is the dark umber again. Dark umber is a great colour. It's a really nice warm brown, so I find when I want a nice deep colour, I'll go in with that. I like a bit of warmth, especially when I'm working on a dog like this. You want to really get a bit of depth in there. And now I'm adding my mid-tones in there and just starting to get this all filled in. So you want to keep your pressure light so that you can build up plenty of layers. And at this stage, it doesn't matter too much. I mean, you'll hear a lot of artists preach about really sharp pencils, and I agree. When you're wanting the really fine details in there, yeah, you want it sharp, but when it comes to mapping out your colours, it doesn't matter too much here, because the blender pen will sort that out anyway, so it doesn't have to be super sharp. In fact, it can actually be a benefit to be a bit softer so that you can cover more area. So you just want to get your colours in there. At this point, I want a wee bit of texture at the bottom of the ear. Make sure I'm not losing some of the direction at the bottom. And I want a few loose hairs. Again, like I say, it can make all the difference just to have a couple of loose hairs going in a different direction, and it just adds that wee bit of realism. It's very unlikely that a dog would have all of its fur sitting perfectly, especially if it's a long-haired dog. There's likely to be little stray wisps here and there, and I'll show you once I'm getting to the fine detail. Just putting a couple of them across in the wrong direction, it makes all the difference. It's those little touches that make it look more real. Okay, so I'm now going to blend that, and it's always lovely blending long fur like this. It's quite a satisfying process. So as you can see, as I do this, it'll just all melt into each other and become lovely and smooth. And as you can see, you don't have to use an awful lot of care here. Just follow the direction of the fur and it all starts melting. Now, one thing to note as you start using blender pens is when you first crack them open, they are really wet and they can almost overblend. So you want to be careful. If you've just bought them straight out of the packet, be very careful, be very gentle with them, because they can almost overblend, and before you know it, half your pencils disappear from the paper. It's just all melted away. So be very gentle when you first get them, and then as you can see, this one's starting to kind of dry off a bit because I've been using it. So as you use it more, it'll dry more, which can sometimes actually be better, because then you can control it a little bit better. And as you can see, I'm almost kind of, I'm going to call it scrumbling. I don't know if that's a word, but I'm using it. So I'm just scrumbling. Bonnie's sniggering at me in the background.
All the time. Always make words up.
Yeah, Bonnie and I are bringing out a dictionary of new art words that we're making up on the spot. We're only joking, it's not an Amazon, please don't try to buy. But yeah, so you can see how that's melted it all into the paper again, and we've covered all our white and it's all starting to come into shape. So this is where you want to go back in, and all you're doing now is just adding in your detail really. So you're just building it up in your detail. So I'm just going to go in with some of my darker colours, and this is where you want a sharper pencil. So make sure you've got a decent point on your pencil here, and you want to pick out where possible just the odd, see how I took that right across there, that lovely little wisp. You want to do that because these little wisps are what make it look real. So and just get in there with a little bit of detail. Now you can repeat this process as many times as you like, providing your paper holds up to it, and you'll know as you're feeling your paper whether it's still taken on pencil or not, or whether it's feeling a bit saturated. But you can just repeat this. So if you wanted, if you felt it still needs a bit, there's something just not quite there, you can just repeat it. So you would just blend again, put the detail in again, blend again, put the detail in, and you can repeat that as many times as that paper will allow until you've got the depth and the detail that you want. I'm just going to add in a little bit of warmth. I feel this bit here needs quite a bit of warmth, and this time I'm going in with a sharper pencil so it's got a bit of detail.